Hello, and welcome to Prayer of the First Light. If you want to start each day with words that transform your life and bring you closer to God, this is the right place. Just subscribe to the channel now, activate the notification bell, and walk with us on this journey of faith and inspiration. On top of a hill forgotten by time, there was an old garden where the wind seemed to whisper ancient secrets. Each flower that bloomed told a story of hope and perseverance, even in seemingly arid soil. There, a young man named Elias used to walk every morning, watching as the light spilled over the petals and transformed simple dewdrops into ephemeral diamonds. He learned, without realizing it, that every small gesture had the power to move invisible worlds, and that words spoken with faith were like seeds sown in silence, germinating in the soil of the impossible. No one saw his walks, but something inside him blossomed with each step, a silent force shaping his life in secret. And as the sun rose, Elijah sensed something greater at work behind the scenes, something that made the ordinary extraordinary. One morning, Elijah found a solitary tree in the center of the garden, its branches bending under the weight of unpicked fruit. He felt an inexplicable curiosity, a calling to touch those fruits and hear what they had to say. As he touched the branches, a warm breeze passed, carrying the scent of wet earth and forgotten promises, as if each fruit told stories of battles won and tears transformed into strength. He realized that even the quietest paths hid invisible miracles, that waiting was not delay, but preparation, and that every gesture of courage, however small, reverberated in spheres no one could see. There he began to understand that the impossible was merely a curtain to be lifted, and that true faith moved worlds. Every step, every touch, was a silent pact with the universe, which conspired in favor of those who believed. As he walked through the garden, Elias saw lengthening shadows, reminding him that not everything beautiful is free from storms. A dark sky formed, and raindrops began to fall, thin and insistent, as if to test his persistence. But strangely, each drop seemed to touch not only the earth, but also his heart, awakening courage he hadn't known he possessed. The storm, rather than frightening him, brought an invisible clarity. Fear only had power if he allowed it, and the silent confidence he cultivated was greater than any shadow. It was there that he understood that protection came not from the absence of problems, but from the certainty of being connected to something greater, which sustained even the most uncertain steps. And even under the grey sky, the light within him began to shine brighter than ever. In a corner of the garden, a forgotten fountain gushed crystal clear water, barely discernible beneath the fallen leaves. Elias approached, observing his reflection in the water, which shimmered beneath the rays of light, breaking through the clouds. Every reflection seemed to tell him that the times of pain and silence were merely preludes to something extraordinary. He saw that even what seemed lost was being shaped to flourish, and that faith needed no witnesses to prove itself. In that instant, he felt a silent presence, a certainty that he was not walking alone, that every tear shed, every fearful step was being transformed into invisible power. The source seemed to whisper, "Continue, for everything has its time, and what seems like delay is only preparation for something greater." Elijah then sat beneath the solitary tree, feeling the weight of experiences transformed into learning. Every shadow that passed over him seemed to be a reminder that darkness also has its purpose, that even the most difficult paths can reveal unexpected miracles. He realized that life is made of invisible chapters, of silent movements that shape destinies. The seeds of faith sown in moments of doubt were now beginning to blossom, not grandly for all to see, but profoundly and lastingly. And as he gazed at the golden horizon, Elijah felt within himself the certainty that nothing he had sown with courage would be lost, for the universe, silent and poetic, conspired to ensure that every promise would be fulfilled at just the right moment. At the end of that day, as the garden plunged into a serene twilight, Elijah felt a rare peace, as if he had walked among mysteries that only faith can reveal. He understood that true life is not about controlling every detail, but trusting that there is a greater purpose in every step and every delay. Every shadow, every ray of sunshine, every drop of rain was a silent lesson in hope, reminding us that everything has its time and that the impossible is just a scenario waiting to be transformed. And in that poetic silence he smiled, knowing that the journey continues, that every word of faith, every gesture of courage, every dream nurtured in secret is germinating into invisible miracles that sooner or later will blossom for all to see. The garden was not just a place, but a reflection of the soul that believes and hopes. Every word you speak with faith is an invisible seed that begins to germinate in the soil of the impossible. Even if you don't see the growth now, God is working silently, watering your hope with purpose. There is power in what you prophesy about yourself, because heaven moves when your heart believes. When you speak life, discouragement loses its power. When you choose faith, doubt loses its place. Nothing you plant in prayer is wasted. Everything blossoms in its own time. He who sows in tears will reap in joy. Psalm 126:5. Blessings don't follow chance, they follow the sound of trust. When your heart decides to rest in God's promises, favor begins to pursue you. Even when everything seems at a standstill, heaven remains active in your favor. What today seems like a delay will reveal itself as deliverance tomorrow. Faith attracts what fear drives away, and God's love covers what pain tries to expose. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. Divine protection is not just a shield, it is a constant presence. Even when you feel alone, there are angels surrounding you. There is peace guarding you. There are promises sustaining you. The enemy may try to touch you, but he will never reach the center where God dwells, your spirit. When fear strikes, remember, those who walk with the Eternal One are never vulnerable. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and delivers them. Psalm 34:7. Yes, this month battles may arise, but you are not without protection. The same God who parted the sea before Moses will open paths before you. No storm is eternal, and no night is so dark that it prevents the dawn. He didn't bring you this far to leave you in the middle of the desert. Each struggle is just a stepping stone to the next victory. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall keep silent. Exodus 14:14. You may walk through valleys that test your faith, but even in the valleys, miracles bloom. It is in the shadows that the light of trust grows brightest. When pain tries to break you, remember, the potter only shapes what he intends to use. Your faith is being perfected, not destroyed. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Psalm 23:4. The same God who freed Joseph from prison, who raised David from obscurity, and who transformed the desert into a fertile path, is the same God who guides you now. He does not change, and his promises do not expire. Even when all seems lost, he continues to write chapters of restoration. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Hebrews 13:8. The strength that raised Christ from the dead is the same that dwells within you. Do not underestimate the power you carry within your faith. You were created to overcome, not to give up. The cross was the starting point, not the end of history. The resurrection is proof that nothing is final when God decides to act. If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. His power has not diminished, and the Lord's arm has not shortened. He continues to heal, restore, and open doors that no one can close. When the world says it's over, God whispers, "It has begun now." He doesn't delay, only acts at the exact right time so that you fully understand the miracle. Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save. Isaiah 59:1. There is a hidden purpose in every wait. While you pray, He organizes. While you weep, He prepares. While you doubt, He confirms. Nothing is in vain when the heart remains steadfast. What is a tear today will be a testimony tomorrow. Those who wait for the Lord will renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31. So stand up, declare, and live as one who has already overcome. You have not been forgotten, you have been chosen. What lies ahead is greater than what lies behind. Walk with faith, speak with hope, and keep your eyes on high. That is where your help comes from. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord. Psalm 121, 1-2. There are times when the heart grows silent with fear and the soul seems directionless. But it is precisely in this silence that God speaks loudest. He says, I'm with you, not as someone observing from afar, but as someone walking beside you every step of the way. He doesn't promise an absence of storms, but guarantees His presence in the midst of them. And this presence changes everything. Because where He is, fear melts away, and the impossible bows before faith. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. When everything seems too heavy, remember, you were not called to carry the world on your shoulders, but to trust in the one who created you. God doesn't demand that you be strong all the time. He only asks that you not give up, because while you think you can't do it, He is already opening invisible paths before you. Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. Faith is not the absence of doubt. It is the decision to continue believing, even without understanding. And when you decide to believe, the whole heaven moves in your favor. What was loss becomes purpose. What was tears becomes seeds. God transforms pain into direction and weakness into testimony. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. God is not just a shelter in times of storm. He is also the wind that pushes the boat when you think you have no more breath. He didn't come to stop the waves, but to teach you to walk on them. And every step you take over the impossible is living proof that He is sustaining you. With God, we will do valiantly. There are days when you will feel too tired even to pray. And that's okay. God understands the language of silence, of tears, of deep sighs. Even when you can't speak, He continues to listen. And in that moment of surrender, He renews what fear tried to steal. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Don't let fear dictate your decisions. Fear is loud, but God's voice is deeper. When He says, "Fear not," it's not advice. It's a promise backed by everlasting love. He doesn't just speak. He acts, protects, and transforms everything He touches. If God is for us, who can be against us? Faith is not a feeling, it's a daily choice. It's waking up and saying, "Lord, I trust," even without seeing. It's walking when your feet tremble. It's smiling when your heart aches. Because what sustains the believer is not what they feel, but who they trust in. The righteous shall live by faith. You may not see it now, but God is building something silently. Every delay has a purpose. Every detour hides a lesson. He is molding you for something greater, preparing the ground for a miracle. And when His time comes, everything will make sense. Everything has its appointed time. God's hand never fails. It holds you when you slip, lifts you when you fall, guides you when you get lost. And when you finally understand that you don't need to control everything, you will feel true peace, the kind that doesn't depend on circumstances. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will do the rest. Today, choose to rest in God. Stop struggling alone and allow Him to be your shelter. There is an invisible care surrounding you, a grace that lifts you up even without deserving it. You are not alone, never have been. He is with you now, saying softly, "I am your God, and I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. For he who promised is faithful." There are times when life seems to whisper defeat, when the wind blows doubt and our hearts are filled with uncertainty. But it is precisely then that God's voice rises within us, firm and gentle, saying, "Fear not, for I am with you." Faith is not the absence of fear. It is walking, even trembling. It is believing when nothing makes sense. It is smiling in the midst of pain and declaring that the best is yet to come. For those who trust in the Lord will never be shaken. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Progress does not come from ease, but from the silent persistence of those who decide not to give up. It is choosing to continue when everything seems at a standstill. It is watering the seed, even without seeing it sprout. It is continuing to believe when the eyes do not see, but the heart feels, because God works silently in the invisible roots of faith. We walk by faith, not by sight. Keeping promises when evidence is scarce is the true act of spiritual courage. It's believing that God hasn't forgotten, even when everything seems delayed. It's remembering that His timing never fails, and that each wait is shaping something greater within us, because the promise never dies, only matures. He who began a good work is faithful to complete it. Declaring healing when symptoms persist is the purest proof of faith that overcomes the impossible. It's understanding that words have power and that heaven moves when the mouth of faith opens. It's not denying pain, it's affirming hope, because when we speak life, the Spirit responds. By His stripes, we are healed. Praising in the midst of the storm is transforming tears into instruments of worship. It's saying thank you when your heart wants to scream. It's knowing that even without understanding, there is purpose in the process. Every thunder carries a lesson, and every lightning bolt reveals a new dawn. In everything, give thanks. And thus trusting in God when the result is not yet visible is the pinnacle of true surrender. It is stopping trying to control time and simply resting in the hands that hold everything, because what seems like a delay is in fact preparation, and those who trust flourish in their own time. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will do the rest. October arrives as a reminder of renewal, a call to lift your head and move forward, to leave behind what weighed you down and clothe yourself with faith, courage, and hope. Because each new month is a divine chance to begin anew. Behold, I make all things new. God is exchanging your weariness for strength, your doubt for direction, your fear for peace. Nothing is lost, only being realigned with purpose. What seemed like the end is, in fact, the beginning of something extraordinary. Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. Today is the day to declare that you are not defined by circumstances, but by the promise. That what hurt you didn't break you, it only taught you to trust. That there is victory hidden in every struggle and learning in every tear. In Christ, we are more than conquerors. So keep going, firm, serene, and confident, because God has not finished the work He began in you. October will be a month of open doors, unexpected answers, and abundant peace. What was blocked will flow, and what seemed distant will begin to happen. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. There are times when the soul grows weary, when the weight of the journey seems greater than the strength that remains. But it is precisely then that God acts silently, preparing the ground for your harvest. He has not called you to give up halfway through the process, but to blossom at the right time. Every tear shed is a seed that heaven gathers and transforms into promises. The enemy tries to make you stop before victory, but the Holy Spirit lifts you up, renews you, and makes you continue, because what hurts today will be testimony tomorrow. Trust, for those who sow with faith reap with joy. Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy. Psalm 126:5. When everything seems to take a long time, remember, God's timing is never late. He is teaching patience, molding your heart, and strengthening your faith. Sometimes He delays the outcome to mature your trust. What you don't understand now will make sense when you look back and see that nothing was in vain. The same God who guided Joseph from prison to the palace is guiding you step by step, even when everything seems confusing. Persevere, because the time of waiting is the time of preparation. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Titus 3:5, there are wounds that don't show on the body, but bleed in the soul, and it is in them that God pours the balm of His presence. He not only heals the physical, but also the mind that tires of fighting. The voice that told you you can't do it begins to fall silent when the Spirit whispers, I am with you. Nothing you've lost has escaped God's control. He restores what seemed impossible. Let God heal the pain you can't explain. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted. Psalm 34:18. Rejection doesn't define who you are. It only reveals where God didn't want you to be. Human love fails, but God's love remains unshakable and eternal. He chose you before the world began, and no abandonment can erase that truth. What was loss in your eyes was deliverance in the eyes of heaven. He is healing the invisible wounds and transforming pain into purpose. Though my father and my mother forsake me, the Lord will take me up. Psalm 27:10. Relationships break, bonds are severed, and hearts are shattered. But God specializes in restoring what time and words have destroyed. He picks up the pieces and makes a new vessel, stronger, more beautiful, and more resilient. There is no distance He cannot bridge, no silence He cannot fill. When God is the center, love blossoms again. Behold, I am making all things new. Revelation 21:5. Anxiety tries to steal your peace, but God calls you to breathe again. He whispers calm in the midst of the storm and transforms chaos into refuge. It's not about understanding everything. It's about trusting in the one who understands the unseen. Tomorrow belongs to Him, and when you rest in that, your soul is calmed. Nothing escapes the gaze of the one who created you. Cast all your anxiety on Him, because He cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. When faith weakens, remember how many times God has sustained you. He hasn't changed. He's simply taking you to a new level of trust. Every struggle carries within it a promise, and every desert hides an oasis prepared by Him. Faith isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to continue even when trembling. What seems like the end is only the beginning of something supernatural. For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. God doesn't waste pain. He transforms wounds into wisdom and tears into strength. What makes you cry today will be exactly what inspires others tomorrow. He's writing a story where every scar will be a sign of victory. Don't struggle to understand, just remain. The harvest will come, and it will be abundant. All things work together for good to those who love God. Romans 8:28. You are not alone. Even if the world doesn't see, all of heaven watches you with love. There are angels around you and promises kept waiting for your yes. When everything seems to fall apart, close your eyes and remember, there is a God who never fails. He is your shelter, your refuge, and your daily strength. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. So don't give up now. The field of your faith is about to blossom. Keep planting hope even when the soil seems dry. Keep loving even when the return is silence. Keep praying even when heaven seems distant, because the God who promised is faithful to fulfill, and in due time you will see the abundant harvest of the good you have sown. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest. Galatians 6:9. Wake up today knowing that the impossible can become real. Every tear you've shed, every night of anguish, has not gone unnoticed. God listens to your heart and transforms pain into strength, fear into courage, and silence into victory. Just as Moses raised his staff and parted the Red Sea, you too can cross the impossible seas of your life. Call to me and I will answer you. I will show you great and unsearchable things which you do not know. Jeremiah 33:3. Even when everything around you seems to be crumbling, there is a peace that surpasses all human understanding. The Lord is your safe haven, your unshakable fortress. Every sincere prayer is like a seed that sprouts invisible miracles, and every word of faith dissolves invisible chains. Remember David facing Goliath with just a stone and a gigantic faith. You too have the power to overcome your giants. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. Don't let the past dictate your present. God breaks cycles of suffering and creates stories of redemption. Each day is a new opportunity to declare victory and restore what seemed lost. Just as Joseph was taken from prison and elevated to governor, your life can also be transformed into triumph. And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God. Romans 8:28. When you feel sadness overwhelmed, lift your eyes and sing praises. Each word of gratitude is a shield that protects your mind and soul. Just as Hannah prayed for a son and received her answer, your prayer today will not go unanswered. God is working in secret, preparing surprises beyond your imagination. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Philippians 4:4. Family battles, legacy pain, and deep-rooted fears have no power over you when the Lord is by your side. He breaks chains, destroys strongholds, and restores lives. Every act of faith is a blow to the darkness, and every word of hope is a light that ignites miracles. Just as Elijah saw fire come down from heaven, your life can bear witness to the supernatural. If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. Even in emotional and financial prisons, God has the key to open every door. Every fervent prayer is an invitation for a miracle to happen. Just as Nehemiah rebuilt impossible walls, you too can restore what seemed lost forever. Do not fear, do not rush, but believe that the Lord's timing is perfect. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Matthew 6:33, 1:594, 5000. Your joy can blossom in the midst of pain. Every smile, every word of faith spoken, activates the divine presence in your life. God transforms tears into testimonies and weakness into strength. Just as Paul found hope amidst prison, you too can remain steadfast. Even when everything seems against you, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. Today is the day to break patterns, cast off chains, and declare victory. Praise before you even see the miracle. Give thanks before you feel the blessing. Each step of faith creates paths you never imagined. Just as Jesus calmed the storm with a word, he can calm any turbulence in your life. And lo, I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Matthew 28:20. Don't settle for survival. You were born to live in abundance, joy, and peace. Every prayer, every word of faith attracts blessings that transform your reality. God is faithful to fulfill everything he promised, and nothing can stop his plan for you. Just as Elisha multiplied bread and satisfied multitudes, your life can overflow with miracles. The Lord is good. a refuge in times of trouble. He knows those who trust in him. Nahum 1:7. This is the time to believe without limits, to declare victory, and to walk with confidence. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to witness God's power. Stand firm, praise loudly, and wait for the supernatural. The life you dream of is not a coincidence. It is a destiny prepared by the Creator. The Lord delivers the righteous out of all their troubles. Psalm 34:17, Prayer. Lord, in this moment of silence and contemplation, I come to you with an open heart. Breathing softly, I feel your presence enveloping every part of me. May every word I speak be like a seed sown in the fertile soil of faith. May even when I don't see growth, your care be watering my hope. Help me to realize that every gesture of trust moves in visible worlds. He who sows in tears will reap with shouts of joy. Psalm 126:5. Father, as I walk the silent paths of life, allow me to recognize the hidden miracles. Even in the waits that seem long, teach me to trust that every delay is preparation. May my faith become a beacon, guiding my steps and those of others. May I feel your constant protection even when storms arise. Show me that courage, however small, reverberates throughout the universe. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. Lord, when shadows try to frighten and fear approaches, strengthen my spirit. May I understand that true security is in you, not in the absence of problems. May every challenge become an opportunity for silent growth. Keep my eyes fixed on you, even when life seems gray. May my trust be greater than any uncertainty around. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and delivers them. Psalm 34:7. God, as I reflect on the source of my own soul, teach me to recognize that everything transforms in its own time. May every tear shed, every uncertain step be shaped into something greater. May I learn to walk without needing witnesses to test my faith. Show me the beauty that arises from silence and patience. May I realize that even the ordinary in my hands can become extraordinary. Those who wait for the Lord will renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31. Beloved Father, even when life seems heavy and full of shadows, remind me that every invisible chapter has a purpose. May my faith not depend on what I see, but on my belief in your care. May every gesture of hope blossom deeply and lastingly. Teach me to trust that nothing I sow with courage is lost. May your silent universe work in my favor, transforming dreams into miracles. To everything there is a season. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Lord, in this moment of surrender, I leave my heart in your hands. May I rest in the certainty that I do not walk alone and that every step is guided by your love. May my spirit be strengthened, even when doubt and fear whisper. Teach me to live faith as a daily choice, breathing patiently in every decision. May my life be a reflection of your presence, and my soul find peace in you. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalms 23:1. If this prayer touched your heart, write Amen in the comments. Share this video with someone you love and click the like button to help us bring this message to more people. Subscribe now to the Prayer of the First Light channel.